Hi there everyone, it's Mark here from New Life Guitars, coming to you from beautiful Brisbane, Australia, where we're having a beautiful winter here at the moment, and winters in Brisbane are just delightful. We don't get snow or anything like that here. We're in a subtropical climate, so winter is a beautiful time of the year, and it's a beautiful time of the year to sit in front of a fire or not too close to the fire while you're playing a beautiful classical guitar. So today's my little clip is about new kids on the block. So I've got three guitars here that have just been recent arrivals. In fact, the first two I'll show you only arrived today from their respective owner, and I'd just like to give you a little introduction to them. They haven't even been through my workshop yet, so they're only going to get better from here on in, but I just love the excitement of getting a guitar. It never gets old, no matter how old you are. I always love getting a new guitar in the door. So getting two on a Friday is a great day for me. And these are all Japanese guitars, and they're all from that wonderful decade of the 1970s. So I keep oscillating between which is my favorite decade for Japanese guitars. I mean, the 70s was truly a sensational decade, but I must admit I have a great soft spot for the guitars of the 1960s. And I've already talked about this in the past, but the guitars of the 1960s, there's something very warm and intimate about those guitars. And by the time the Japanese craft was entering the 1970s, then the instruments really started to blossom, and they grew in volume and capacity and stature as guitars that were worthy of any world stage. So I've got three wonderful guitars from three wonderful Japanese luthiers. So the first one I'd like to present to you is a Hiroshi Tamura P50 from 1972. So 1972 was a great year, and this is a beautiful guitar, obviously cedar and rosewood. It's in excellent shape for a guitar that is so old, and it's still waking up. I've only just tuned it up like in the last hour or so. So it's still got the old strings on it, but a lovely big full sound that these Japanese guitars have. So it's a beautiful open rich sound. As I say, it's only going to get better as I do some work on it. So it needs, every guitar that comes in here, I pass a very high level over the top of every instrument I get, because I don't present instruments that are simply as they arrived. I spend days, sometimes weeks, working on them to get them into excellent playable condition and to get the best tone out of them possible. So this guitar, it's an excellent starting point, but it does have a few little issues that I'll take care of. The fret ends are a little bit sharp, very common on guitars after many years of various temperatures and environments. The frets tend to move a little bit, the fretboards can contract a tad, and it just means you've got to redress the ends of the frets just to take any sharpness away to make them really comfortable. Sometimes I need a bit of tapping in on the ends, and a nice polish and a fret, and a little gentle re-level of the frets just to make sure that there's no buzzers and stuff. A little bit of nut work required on this, and probably a new saddle just to raise it up a bit, because the action is actually so low. And it's a very nice action actually. So this is going to come up beautifully. So this is the Hiroshi Tamura P50 from 1972. So now this one, we have another Hiroshi, but this is Hiroshi Komori. So Komori was once again a very esteemed guitar builder in Japan, and this is from 1975. 1975 was a great year. That was actually the year that I finished high school, so it had to be a good year. Wish I could say it was the year I finished kindergarten, but that makes me sound a bit older. That I finished high school in 1975, but that was a fabulous year. And this is once again a beautiful guitar, lovely Indian rosewood it looks like to me. Once again cedar top, Cedar is definitely my preferred timber these days. So once again, a lovely warm open sound. And I think the Komori's just got something, I'm hearing something a little bit extra in the Komori. This is beautiful as well. As I say, I've only just received it today. It's just been tuned up for about an hour. Still got the original strings that it had when I got it. The strings are actually quite old. And if you've seen my previous clips, I'm a bit fond of old strings, but I'll definitely be putting new strings on this guitar before it becomes available for sale. But lovely shape for a guitar that's, once again, some 50 years old. Very nice. So that's the Hiroshi Komori from 1975. Now we've got this one. This one actually arrived about 2 weeks ago, and I think I've already done a post on it, but this is absolutely gorgeous. This is the first all solid Brazilian rosewood guitar that I've had. So this is a Sakazo Nakade, also from 1975, in Brazilian rosewood, solid Brazilian rosewood, and spruce top. Sorry, not spruce, cedar top. 1975, that was the year that the CITES agreement came into effect. That was when they essentially put a ban on many exotic timbers, and which included Brazilian rosewood and some other species of timbers which were popular as tone woods for guitar building. Whoa. But what that meant for guitar builders and guitar exporters was that there was a lot of restrictions placed on guitars and all instruments and any item that consisted of some of the timbers that were on that CITES list. And as I say, Brazilian rosewood became very difficult to obtain, very difficult to export and to import. So this guitar represents kind of that line where it all became a little bit difficult. It's not to say that Brazilian rosewood guitars aren't available still, but one has to be very careful if one is a builder, how you ship instruments and how you report them when you do ship. If it's old growth timbers that were harvested before the CITES agreement, then you've got a chance of getting them through. But nevertheless, what that means is that Brazilian rosewood is very highly sought after. And it's not without reason, because the tone on this guitar is just, the way I describe it is three-dimensional. These two guitars are fabulous hand-built guitars. This one is a fabulous hand-built guitar, but the addition of the Brazilian rosewood just adds another level of complexity to the sound and richness that you don't always get in other instruments. Oh, this is gorgeous. And just a couple of little playing tips, just as I was thinking before I started the camera rolling. Always work on your fingernails to get them into good shape. A lot of people, well, not everybody plays with fingernails, and I know that if you're a semi-professional or even an enthusiastic amateur player, it's nothing more debilitating than when you do break a nail, especially if you do physical or outdoor work. It's very easy to break nails, which means that your tone can be a little bit compromised when that happens. I'll give you another little funny tip that about 30 years ago, I was at my in-laws' place down in Victoria, and my mother-in-law had this little bottle of a moisturiser sitting on the sideboard where I used to play guitar quite a bit during the day. And one day I found myself grabbing this bottle. It was actually a bottle of oil of Ulan, as they used to call it back then. And I just put a little bit on my hands because it was winter time and they were a bit dry, and a little bit of moisturiser on the hands actually can really help the comfort of your playing and smooth out the texture of your playing. I don't even know if they even make oil of Ulan anymore, but I think it's they now call it oil of Olay. So that's my little secret, my secret beauty tip, that if you want something just to make your hands a little bit more supple, reduce some of the string noise, and a little bit of moisturiser at least 15 minutes or more before you play is kind of helpful. But I would say that I'm in Australia, as I mentioned. If you ever happen to find yourself in Australia in an outback pub, I wouldn't start discussing the grief of breaking a fingernail or the hand moisturisers that you use on your hands, as you could be in a bit of strife if you ventured into that subject. But it can be a little secret as a classical guitar player that we all understand. The heartache of breaking a fingernail at a crucial moment. So I might play something on this guitar now, so I might just pause the tape momentarily just as I prepare for that. But I'd like to play, I tend to play more jazzy type things. Things like this. Something a little bit jazzy again. It's called You Stepped Out of a Dream. And we'll play something a little bit more classical a bit later on and play that for you as well. So that's 3 beautiful Japanese guitars. This fabulous all solid Brazilian rosewood Sakazo Nakade from 1975, a number 2000. Then we've got the beautiful Hiroshi Komori from 1975. That's a class 10 model. Boy, sounds very classy when they call an instrument class 10 or class 15. And then we've got the Hiroshi Tamura P50. All beautiful instruments, all coming available for sale very soon. So please send me a message. And also, I'll just tell you about something else that's coming up. I've got an event planned coming up in September that if you happen to be in the Brisbane area, in mid-September, I'm going to do an event called the Spring Classical Guitar Exhibition. So it's just going to be a smallish event where I'll have probably 20 or so guitars all on display. I'm going to have some excellent players come along as special guests who are going to play the instruments as well. There'll be probably champagne and other refreshments and canapes for your enjoyment. So if you're in the area, please keep your eye out on my Facebook page for that event, which I'll create in a little while. That will be the Spring Classical Guitar Exhibition. That'll be held in Brisbane in the northern suburbs at West Chermside. So get ready for that, and I'll look forward to bringing that to you a little bit later on. So thanks again, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.